Welcome to another JunoViewer webinar. My name is Philip Vanderwell, and today we're going to focus on importing your Fwp program or FWP into JunoViewer from an Excel file, as well as some of the other functionality available in the same page. So here are the steps that we'll go through to import your Fwp program from Excel. So first, we're going to download the FWP template. Then we'll populate that with our Works program. Once it's populated, then we'll upload the Excel file back into JunoViewer. And finally, import the FWP data into JunoViewer, also looking at some common import issues. We'll also look at some of the other functionality available on the page, viewing your Fwp program within the page, downloading your Fwp program to Excel, the FWP lifecycle, and deleting a Fwp program. Now, before we jump into JunoViewer, for me to show you all of this, just a quick note regarding the page that we'll be working in, the FWP and Segment Sets page. We're working on renaming a lot of the pages in JunoViewer, and this one's also on the chopping block. So pretty soon, you'll see that it'll be called Manage FWPs or something in that vein. Okay, let's go into JunoViewer. So here I am in the JunoViewer homepage. The first thing we need to do is download the FWP template. So under the Manage menu and the Templates page, and if I scroll down to Network section and FWP definition templates and download that. I'll just go back to my home page. Now, if you've already imported a Fwp program into JunoViewer previously, then you could just use that as a template. But if you've not done it before, or if you want to start from scratch, then this is how you can do it. Whoops. Right, so let's open up our definition template. So in this template, we've got a network definitions, section definitions, and FWP definition. This is what we'll focus on. The first 7 columns, those are mandatory. And so this includes location information for the treatment links within your Fwp program, as well as some grouping information. From column H, the 8th column, you can see that we've got info underscore. So that stands for information. And so we have any number of information columns, as many as you like, can be imported. After the info columns, we've got the treatment columns. And so you can see treat underscore 2021, comment underscore 2021, and reason underscore 2021. Now, if you've only got treatments for each year, then you won't need these columns, which I'll show you in just a minute. But this is where you'd obviously keep the treatments associated with each of your treatment lengths. So that's our template. Now let's open up my Fwp program. And I'm just going to split my screen. So on the right-hand side, I've got my Fwp program. And you can see I've got columns that are different than what we've got in our template. So the first thing I'll do, I'll just work through formatting this, and then we'll import it. So I've got a section ID or link ID, a name, and a start and end location. And so I'm just going to copy those in. Next is lane. I don't have any lane column in my program, but we need to put something in JunoViewer, and so I know that I'm not doing any land specific treatments, so I'm just going to put all lands for all of them. Next are my information columns, so I'll highlight those and I'll just paste them from here. Now, currently, these names will need to be updated. So I'm going to add info underscore, and I like just using lowercase info underscore area, info underscore width, info underscore num of lanes. And for any date columns that you've got, that should end in date. So info underscore surf date. Right, so those are my info columns, and you can see that my date format is wrong here, and so I just need to copy that for the whole column. Make that look nice. For date columns, the format should be like this, DD, MMM, and then 4 Ys. And then I've got my treatments here. So I'm just going to copy the whole column across. Paste that in there. Get rid of all those. Treat underscore 2021, 22, 23. So like I said before, we don't need the reason and comment for it to be imported. And now I can set an area name. The area name needs to be unique. It's a unique identifier for each treatment length. And so usually I'll do something like section name equals section name, and then I'll do a delimiter underscore or something, lock from, and the same delimiter, and then I do land. And I've put that in the wrong column. Let me just expand this out. Let's try it again. Equals section name, and lock from, and lane. Let's copy that down, and that should all be unique. If it's not, it means that I've got overlaps or duplicates. For the area group name, this is a way for you to group your FWP program. I'm going to group mine by highways. So if I sort A to Z, I'm going to call this highway 1. And my FWP program isn't too long, so I can just drag down. Oh, no, I can't. And highway 2. And highway 3. Looks like I had the 2 highlighted as well. All right, save that and close it. Don't need that one anymore. I'll go back to JunoViewer. And now we want to upload that file. So there's 2 ways to upload these general files into JunoViewer. Got the quick way. So if I come to the user menu, upload a file, you can see it there. Or another way is via the upload download data page under the manage menu. And this is where you can see all of your uploaded and downloaded files. So if I select file from my computer, oh, something else I should do is give it another name. So let me do that quickly. So I'll say Fwp webinar. Select. So now that Excel file is sitting in JunoViewer, but JunoViewer doesn't know what to do with it yet. So we're going to tell it. So if we go to the FWP and Segment Sets page, and make sure we're on the right network. Some of your accounts, you may have multiple networks, and this is the panel we'll be working in. So file to use, the Fwp webinar FWP, sheet to use, FWP definition, and then you give it a version code. So I'll just call it the same thing. Now, this note down here tells me that any spaces are going to be replaced with underscores, and I'm okay with that. Good. So that all worked well, which is what you want. But often it doesn't go according to plan. And so I'm just going to go over a few things, a few common issues that users will face with importing FWP programs from Excel. So let me bring up my FWP program again. Let me just make it look a bit nicer as well. Whoops. Right, so I mentioned it before, but one common issue is duplicate or overlapping treatment lengths. So actually, I'm going to copy this. This is a formula, it works. 1186. So there's two duplications it looks for. You can't have duplicate area names, and then obviously you can't have duplicate or overlapping treatment lengths. And so that's where the section ID, the lock from, lock to, and lane all match. So I've made this one, these two are overlapping now. So let's see what that looks like. I'll use the quick upload so I can stay on my page. And because Fwp webinar FWP, the Excel file, already exists on the server, I don't need to refresh the page for that to appear in the dropdown. And so I can just hit import again. And I'll get this telling me that there's overlap records that exist in rows 2 and 3. So if we fix that, but let's say that we've got duplicates there, so I'll save that. Import. The template contains a non-unique area name in row 3. So these are a few things that you can, these are probably some of the most common ones, but here's another one. So you see what the date format, but if it was just in a general date format like that, tells me that every row in my FWP program, the date is not formatted correctly. Now it knows it's a date because I have finished the info column name with the word date. I should have mentioned that earlier. So any date columns, they should be in that format as well for the header. Let's fix that. A blank cell. If you have a blank cell in column A, accidentally you forget to put the area group name in, show you what happens. So we've got 7 records above it, and then the rest of the FWP program is below. So good, that all worked. But note how many treatment lengths are sitting on in the FWP program table now, just the 7. So the import algorithm, as soon as it hits a blank row in that column A, it stops reading. And so it's important that that all of these are populated. If you have a blank column here, it's going to look one further. If you have 2 blank columns though, it'll stop there. So we can just have a look at that quickly. So that's worked, but it finishes at my location and then it jumps straight into treatments, but these aren't my treatments. This is just generic treatment columns that are added to every FWP program. So it's, I guess, to check for any hidden rows that may be sitting there in your sheet. Another one, often people will have a space in their headers, and this is a special character which isn't allowed in the FWP program headers, and it'll tell us that. Column name info length contains special characters that are not allowed. So often people will have a look and they'll say, no, it looks fine. And so one thing that I'll often do is I'll highlight all the headers, do a Control F and replace any spaces with nothing, and it couldn't find any, so that's good. Another one is if you're editing your FWP program in Excel and then put it back into JunoViewer, often you might be you might be dragging, you might be creating a new row and copying something down. And what happened before with me with the Highway 1 turning into Highway 157 can also happen with the section IDs. And so it might be that you've inserted this one, and so we drag that down and it creates 3329. So if I try to import that now, overlap records exist. So there's already another section called 3329, and so it's saying, oh, there it is. So it's saying that it already exists, it's overlapping, but often it'll just, instead of that, it'll just say this doesn't exist in the network, and that's why. So all that said, there's a number of ways, there's a number of things that can trip you up when you're importing a FWP program. Those are the common ones. So yeah, a few things to keep an eye out for. Now let's close that and we'll just have a quick look at some of the other functionality here. Show all locations. So it does what it says, it shows you all the locations in your FWP program. This used to load automatically, but we put it into a button because some users had thousands and thousands and thousands of records, so it was making the page load longer. So anyway, that's sitting in a button now. Another one is show top 50 rows. So this is a good way to preview your FWP program. And I should import it again, the fixed one. Everything should be okay. Let's see. Upload a file. And let's import. Awesome. Show top 50 rows. So I can now see my info columns and my treatment columns there. The next one, download as Excel file. So if I click that, I'll just take a second. And I can download my FWP program back to Excel. And so from here on is the same FWP program I imported. The first column hyperlinks to field comments, any field comments that might exist. So these are stored in a separate table in JunoViewer. We can do another webinar on field comments sometime, but those are available when you export your FWP program, as well as the ID that we're using in JunoViewer for that FWP program record. Show FWP lifecycle. So this is my FWP program, and you can see that at 4:42 I first imported it, and then I imported it again with the same name and again, and just now I've downloaded the data to Excel. If we select a more interesting one, can take a few seconds to load. And so you can really start seeing what's happened with your FWP program over time. So if I order it by there, I can see that Sanette imported this on the 20th of January, and she's done all sorts of things with it, and the training courses that she's been doing, and other people have opened it and looked at it, and she's changed treatments. And I guess see my name pop up now and again, downloading it. Offline database downloaded, FWP unlocked. So it's a good way to have a quick look through your FWP program, what's been happening with it. And then finally, the delete functionality. So if we've set up any models on this FWP program, then deleting it from here is going to delete those as well. So it says, are you sure you want to delete? Note all forecast modeling setups associated with this FWP program will also be deleted. Okay, and it's gone. And that's most of the functionality. I think if you've already got a FWP program here and you just want to replace it, then the use current version code automatically populates the version code with whatever you've selected there, which is a really handy feature. Just like that. So besides importing a FWP program into JunoViewer from Excel, there are a few other ways to create a FWP program, which I thought I'd just mention quickly. One of them is cloning an existing FWP program, which you can do in the FWP utilities page. My colleague Sean did a webinar late last year on this, and so I'll link that in the show notes. Another way is by creating a segment set where JunoViewer breaks up your entire network into set lengths. Fritz covers this in one of his modeling tutorial videos, and I'll also link to that. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you at the next webinar. Bye.